on this channel is the first part to my Let's Play on Luigi's Mansion. While I think the LP could have gone a lot better, the game did grow on me and I appreciate my decision to ever start Let's Playing. However, maybe my opinions for this game could have been better from the start if Nintendo stopped developing the game earlier, because the game did go through a lot of changes and it could have made my LP go in a different direction. Maybe this time it could have actually gone forward. That's besides the point. So today on Let's Play Beta, we're going to be taking a look on the beta of Luigi's Mansion. The first time the public ever got a look at Luigi's Mansion was at Space World 2000 as a tech demo to show off the power of the GameCube, alongside games such as Metroid and The Legend of Zelda. Which brings us to an interesting point. At the end of the Space World video, you can see 3 ghosts sitting around a table. Surprisingly, these ghosts do appear as an Easter egg in the final game. When Mario is being turned back to normal, you can see an image, which appears to be the same 3 ghosts sitting around the table. At E3 2001, Luigi's Mansion was shown again, but this time it'd be shown as a complete game. But there are many differences between this version of Luigi's Mansion to the final product. Let's start out with the HUD. In the beta version, you can see the HUD went through a lot before the game was released. At the bottom of the screen, you can see a coin counter, which would keep track of all the coins you collected before it was scrapped. You may also notice that whenever Luigi uses his vacuum, a meter appears at the bottom of the screen, which ranged from 1 to 10. The longer he uses it, the higher the number gets. And if it reaches 10, the vacuum will overheat and will make the Luigi fall backwards, causing him to lose HP and make the ghost get away. When this was scrapped, people believed it turned into a ghost counting meter, and then it turned into the final elemental meter we know today. However, one unused function of the elemental meter had, which can be found through hacking, is that when it gets to a certain threshold level, it will turn dark red and play a sound effect, warning you when you're low on an element. Another change in the HUD design was the Game Boy Horror. As you can see, it was a timer. In a Nintendo Power magazine, it says Luigi had 24 hours to save Mario. And if you didn't, you were shown this scene. There's many speculations on what this video could possibly be. Some say Luigi turns into a zombie, which in my mind, personally, is just stupid. One of the other more popular speculations is that the mansion, along with Mario in it, would disappear. Now, I don't believe this one either, because you can see the mansion in the background when the cutscene is happening. The one that I believe, personally, is just plain simple. Luigi gets possessed by a ghost. Then in a Nintendo Power magazine, it shows it was now a camera, and it was supposed to see Luigi's perspective. These 2 old Game Boy Horrors can still be found with the magical art of hacking. If you look at the top of the Game Boy Horror, it detects boos in the final game, but in prior versions to the game, it originally detected ghosts. Now let's move on to ghosts. In the beta, you can notice ghosts would change a lot before the final game. The orange ghost was originally blue and fat, then it was changed to a thinner model and it was pink with a nose, then it went white, and then finally the orange ghost in the final game. The blue twirler had a couple of revisions before the game was finally released. It was originally pink and had a huge nose. Now it's the blue twirler we all know and hate today. Now, there is one unused ghost in Luigi's Mansion called the Basher, or as I like to call them, the scare the crap out of you ghosts. A Basher was pretty much an orange ghost, but had another trick up its sleeve. A mist would appear behind Luigi, following with the ghost a few seconds later, and it will scream in comic text that reads, "Bah!" which is obviously German. Then Luigi will fall on his hands and feet and crawl away as fast as he can. When Luigi is spooked, he will lose 50 HP and have his HP cut in half temporarily, but after a few seconds, it will go back to 100. but his life will stay at 50. Maybe this is why the health was originally a fraction. Now time to talk about doors, like it can't get any more random already. In Luigi's Mansion, there are 2 unused doors. The first one can be summoned through the ancient and magical way of cheating. This door seems to only have one animation, and that's to open it. The last unused door in Luigi's Mansion was for the twins room. It actually had a really neat design with a star on it. It could be seen in this beta screenshot. Now it's time for dialogue icons. There are 4 known dialogue icons that are never used in Luigi's Mansion, but are found within the data. The first one is of a green toad, the next one shows one of an orange ghost, the next of Bowser, and finally Mario. Now it doesn't make sense as why the Mario icon was never used. It could have been used when Luigi sees Mario in the painting down the bottom of the well. All the other ones have reasons to be left out. All Bowser did was roar. There's no green toads in this game, and ghosts just speak German. There is also an unused portrait ghost in Luigi's Mansion. It was supposed to be in the safari room. He was supposed to be an Australian hunter, and he said that he was going to chop Luigi's head off and add it to his collection. I can only imagine why this was left out. Now let's look at the mansion itself. The beta mansion seems to have no chimneys, and it's also a lot shorter than the final mansion as well. Take note of the top 3 windows as well. One last major change is that the GameCube was going to be in 3D. That's right, there was an unreleased add-on that would make all your favorite GameCube games in 3D. But since this console costs way too much, they decided to scrap that idea and make that component built into the GameCube. But then that'd make the console cost too much itself, so they decided to not release the add-on altogether. Now let's look at some smaller changes. For one, the hallway, you can see that the vases are blue, rather than red in the final game. The Poltergeist 3000, originally named the Poltergeist 400, originally had more of a square design to it, rather than looking more circle-like in the final game. Also, you can see that coins spin on their side, much like Mario coins, while in the final game, coins behave the laws of physics. You may also notice that the game has a darker brightness tone, which can be activated through hacking, and Luigi also holds his flashlight with both hands, which can also be activated through hacking. Oh yeah, and the game may have started on the N64. I can't really find any concrete evidence to prove this, but I would not be surprised, as there's a lot of games that started on one platform, but moved to another console. And finally, to cap this off, let's look at some unused audio tracks. Please take a listen. So that's the beta of Luigi's Mansion. I would have loved to play this version of the game, because it sounds awesome, but we're never going to, unless you played at E3 2001. So, there's not much else to do but just play the version we got. So this has been Super Saiyan Pikmin with the beta of Luigi's Mansion.